Hey guys, this video is for anyone who is currently struggling in school because I've been there. Listen, I had horrible grades like my freshman year, so I'm talking academic probation kind of vibes. But I ended college with honors and a GPA higher than 3.0. So yeah, eventually I figured it out, and I'm about to tell you how I figured it out. I'm probably gonna tell you more than I actually scripted. Let's get into it. The first thing is the type of teacher that you have matter. You kind of need to get your teacher like an analysis. This right here is gonna be the biggest game changer. Not every teacher teaches or grades the same. You'll have some who only test on what they teach. You'll have others who expect you to read the entire textbook on top of their lectures. And you have some that'll give you open note test, or some that just won't even give you test or those kind of grades at all. So understanding how your teacher, so pay attention to how your teacher operates, and you'll figure it out by reading the syllabus, asking classmates who have taken their classes before, or noticing what they emphasize on in class. So some people are more like classwork heavy, some teachers are more test heavy. Some teachers grade their test and their classwork pretty much on the same balance, pretty much on the same like percentage scale. So using that kind of stuff kind of helps. And once you know how they grade, you can plan for how hard you need to go for that class. Another thing is play to your strengths. So ask yourself, what subjects come easiest for you? If you're naturally good at English or already taking like AP Bio in high school, you won't need to study as hard for those classes compared to the ones that you feel are like learning a new language like math or something. Use that to your advantage, and use that to understand where you need to focus more energy on the classes that you're struggling with. Study with people who are in your class. So even if you're not in a study group, having like one or two friends you can ask questions or review stuff with is so helpful, especially in the class, because 9 times out of 10 what happens is the subjects that you know they don't understand, or the topics that you know they don't understand, and vice versa. Sometimes the way your friends explain something can help you like stuff click better for you, and teamwork definitely saves GPAs. Teamwork definitely saves GPAs. Another thing is go to office hours. I cannot stress this enough. Don't be afraid to ask your professors for help, because professors want you to come to them. That's what they're paid for. And on top of that, they are less likely to fail you if you've been to office hours and you talk to them and you show them that you're making effort. So go in, ask questions, or just show effort. It makes a difference. You might even get a curve, like them to curve your grade later on. Find a study method that helps for you. This is the real key. Not every study method works for every subject. What works for biology might not work for math or chemistry. You need a toolbox, not just one trick to keep using. But what worked best for me was something that's called the Feynman technique, which I kind of think works for every subject, because it's where you pretend you're teaching the material and use a whiteboard or something to write things out and explain it to them like your professor, preferably to younger kids, because then you have to go into detail. And if you get stuck, you know what you need to go back and review. This is my all-time favorite. Literally, this kind of works for all subjects. Other method I used kind of depended on the class. So you have like the SQ3R method, which is used for like heavy reading classes. That's where you survey, question, read, recite, review. So you would kind of skim through, and then you would question what you need to know. And then from there, you would read the passage, recite, and review what is important from the passage. Another one is mind mapping, which is great for visual learners because you get to connect big ideas to the smaller stuff. Another one is called interleaving, but for interleaving, I would suggest using this when you have a big study. Like if you're going to study for more than an hour, say like 2 hours, you want to use interleaving, because this study method isn't just subject. You study multiple subjects in one session to keep your brain sharp and kind of keep your body like going. I know this one, the next one, everybody kind of talks about all the time, which is active recall. So you're not just rereading, but you are going to quiz yourself on what you know. Spaced repetition is another one, which is where you review info over increasing time gaps. So you review it one day, then 3 days, then 7 days. You get it. Like, you kind of just review it. Then there's the promenada. I really don't know if I'm saying this right. But this technique is where you study for 25 minutes and you break for 5, which kind of prevents burnout. Blurting, that's where you write out everything you remember and then check for gaps. Practice test, you replicate the testing environment. Flashcards are a classic, but they are effective, especially with spaced repetition. Using your flashcard can help. Another one, these two are not on script. ChatGPT, do not use them. I'm going to say it, and let me say it so you can hear me. I'm going to put it in big so you understand. Do not just use ChatGPT to study. And here's why. Because a lot of the time, AI and ChatGPT gets information wrong. So I am a huge fan of using ChatGPT when it comes up to breaking down your study topics. And sometimes I used to use it to help give me more information, but it is not a end all be all, because sometimes the stuff on ChatGPT is not always right. So yes, I am a fan of using ChatGPT. Like, I'm never gonna sit here and lie and say I'm not. However, ChatGPT is definitely a 50-50 thing. Like, sometimes it'll give you the right stuff, and this goes for every subject. It literally says it at the bottom, I think. Like, sometimes it'll give you the right stuff, sometimes it won't. So use that at your own discretion, but don't be afraid to use that resource because of what I'm saying. Because, there are resources like Check. I did use Check. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and make it seem like I didn't use the resources that were given to me, because I indeed did. I used Check. I used Chat. However, I used it knowing that sometimes the information was wrong. And also, when I used it, I made sure that I knew how to do whatever I was using it for, or I had the basis or the ground foundation, and I just needed a little bit of help getting past the threshold. In that kind of area, it's okay to use it, because it's okay to use Chat, it's okay to use Check. I'm not going to say it's not. I'm just always going to say, make sure when you're using that stuff that you also have the basic foundations, that you understand the steps yourself, because you can't use that on the test. You're not going to be able to use that all the time. I had a teacher. We had to present for a class, which, that's normal. However, what wasn't is what she did after each presentation was she would ask us questions, because she wanted to make sure that we didn't just use Chat, we didn't just use Check, we didn't just use what was given to us to make like the slideshows. Because, and I'm not gonna lie, I did use Check to like kind of give me the bullet points, but that was after I gave them what I was gonna say in my presentation. Like, I would say, okay, Chat, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna bring up this. This is how I'm gonna say it. I gave them my script, and they gave me the like little points, because it just made it faster. Like, I was being lazy. I had other stuff to do. I had other classes to get through. So I did use it. I'm not gonna say I didn't use it, but you have to understand in which capacity you're using these things for, because yes, they're made to help you, but how? Like, so when she went and she was asking me or some of my other classmates questions, you could kind of tell, which I think she was grading and she was gauging on, was you could kind of tell who just did it and use chat or something, and who did it, and they had the information and they knew what they were talking about. So yeah, that's important. But my final tip overall is, don't let one bad semester make you feel like you're not smart. Everybody struggles. You just need a better strategy. And remember, you can always bounce back. Like, I'm living proof. I will put my grades up here so y'all can see what I was working with. Like, it was horrible. I am living proof that you can bounce back. And if you're trying to level up your grade, comment some of your study goals. But yeah, guys, it's literally just bounce back. And if you're trying to get your grades up, drop your current study goals. Drop your current study goals and let me know which tips help you out the most. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And share this with someone who's trying to get their GPA around. Because we got this, literally. You got this. So see you next time. Bye.